The sun had barely begun to rise as I stepped into the quiet woods, my heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and anticipation. It was opening day of deer hunting season, and I was determined to make it a successful one. The air was crisp, carrying the scent of damp earth and fallen leaves. With my rifle slung over my shoulder and my gear in tow, I ventured deeper into the trees. I had scouted this area for weeks, studying the patterns of the deer and identifying the best spots for a successful hunt. This was my sanctuary, a place where I felt at peace, surrounded by the beauty of nature and the thrill of the chase. As I settled into my chosen blind, the world around me seemed to come alive. Birds chirped in the distance, their calls a reassuring melody that underscored the tranquility of the moment. I adjusted my rifle and scanned the tree line, my senses on high alert, every rustle of leaves drawing my attention. Hours passed in patient stillness, the sun climbing higher in the sky. The woods were a symphony of subtle sounds, the whisper of the wind, the distant rustle of small creatures, and the occasional snap of a twig. I focused my gaze on a game trail that led from the dense underbrush to a small clearing. This was where I hoped to catch a glimpse of my quarry. Time seemed to stretch on as I remained vigilant, my body tense with anticipation. And then, movement caught my eye. A flash of brown, a flicker of motion amidst the foliage. My heart skipped a beat as I lifted my binoculars, my breath catching in my throat. There, in the dappled sunlight, stood a magnificent buck. Its antlers reached toward the sky, a crown of nature's design. It was a breathtaking sight, the embodiment of strength and grace. My pulse quickened as I carefully raised my rifle, taking aim and steadying my breath. But just as I was about to squeeze the trigger, a sound echoed through the woods, a low, guttural growl that froze me in my tracks. My eyes darted to the source of the noise, and what I saw sent a shiver down my spine. Emerging from the underbrush was a man, his appearance disheveled and his eyes wild with panic. He held a rifle in his hands, and his gaze locked onto mine with a mix of desperation and anger. I lowered my rifle, unsure of what to make of this unexpected encounter. His voice trembled as he spoke, his words a jumbled mess of apologies and explanations. He was a poacher, he confessed, illegally hunting in these woods. He had seen me in my blind and feared I would report him to the authorities. Fear had driven him to confront me, to protect his secret at any cost. Panic surged through me as I realized the danger of the situation. I had stumbled upon someone willing to use violence to safeguard his illegal activities. I backed away slowly, trying to keep my eyes on the poacher without triggering any rash actions. He pleaded with me not to report him, promising to leave the area and never return. His desperation was palpable, his every word a reflection of the fear that gripped him. As I retreated, I assured him that I had no intention of reporting him. I simply wanted to leave the woods safely. But just as I turned to make my escape, the poacher's demeanor shifted. His eyes darkened, and a sinister smile spread across his face. Without warning, he lunged toward me, his rifle raised. Instinct kicked in, and I fumbled for my phone, my fingers trembling as I dialed 911. As the poacher closed in, I held the phone to my ear, desperation and fear giving my voice an edge of urgency. The operator's voice on the other end offered a lifeline, a connection to help in the face of danger. The poacher hesitated, his eyes locked onto my phone, the realization that his actions were now documented sinking in. With a snarl of frustration, the poacher turned and fled into the underbrush, disappearing from sight. I remained on the line with the operator, my heart still racing from the adrenaline rush. The police were on their way, and I was safe for now. As I emerged from the woods, I looked back one final time, the memory of that desperate man etched into my mind. It was a chilling reminder that even in the pursuit of nature's beauty, there can be darkness lurking beneath the surface. A reminder that danger can arise from the most unexpected corners of the wilderness. The woods, once a place of solace, had become a landscape of uncertainty and fear.